Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. This is Fishing Vlog number 190. We're closing in on that 200 mark, and hopefully I will have the whole fish room all set up and ready for the grand tour when we reach there. But for the moment, there's still an awful lot more work to do. If you remember from a video or two ago, I had put in a bit of culturing and showing you how I get the actual materials, do some culturing, and at the time I asked if anyone was interested in the process I go through for subculturing to get something a little bit more pure for, predictable is probably the better way of putting that. And I had some response on that, so in the interim I have been going through that process, and I also found an easier way for some of you, hopefully, to get your starters for those sorts of things, and I have all that mostly put together now, and hopefully I'll have that up and ready for you guys at least sometime this week, probably around Wednesday. And I also showed you that tank there with the baby Killian, which is getting quite large. I have an idea for going forward for scud culturing based on how successful that one's been. That will not be up in Wednesday's video, but I'll have hopefully that ready for you guys sometime in the near future as well. And part of the reason for all this is these guys here. I got this tank all cleaned out. They're not terribly comfortable now with all those plants removed, but they come out quite often. They get fed and they're settling in. These are the white clouds, and I want to start breeding them in numbers, and the culturing is for a comparison. I want to compare how it is feeding these guys as newly hatched fry with paramecia, and then eventually weaning them onto baby brine shrimp, versus using golden pearls, the ones that Dawn sent me, and transitioning from golden pearls to baby brine shrimp to see if there is any real difference between the two. And that's going to be coming up, hopefully. I'm showing you down here partially for my own benefit, because sometimes fish get down in here, and this is the easiest way for me to have a look in here, because I don't want to stick my head down in there. I just put the camera down in there and see if there's any fish in there. It seems to be quite clear at the moment. So this part here is all set up. It's all ready to go, and the culturing is proceeding really quite well. I mean, I have some very interesting results, and I think you guys are going to find it quite cool. This, on the other hand, as you can see, has hardly been touched at all. There are fish in here. I mean, you never see them because this fern is doing so bloody well. And up on the top, there's the peace lily there that's also doing really well. And I haven't cleaned this filter since I hooked it up, and it's still doing really well. It just need to be cleaned, of course. You can see algae build up on the front there. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue it or not, because I do want to transition to completely air. Not so much for any other reason than the fact that there's no point in running additional pumps when the 2 air pumps are more than enough. Now these guys, I'm setting up the 7-foot tanks. I won't be showing them today because there's a whole pile of stuff I have to do. But they're going to be going in up with the Hatborlei, because they're big enough now to defend themselves, and they're not old enough yet to be aggressive to pick on the much larger Hatborlei. So hopefully they'll settle in together, get used to each other by the time they're going to start breeding, which is not too far off. These are the OB zebras, of course, and it's amazing. They're just getting along perfectly well with the male killifish, which surprises me. But at some point in time, I assume when they get a little bit bigger, they're going to, I'm going to have to remove the killifish. And speaking of peace lilies, this guy's doing really well. I haven't seen any issues whatsoever with pruning the vast majority of its roots off. It makes it much nicer in the aquarium. I prefer it this way. And of course it looks nice hanging over the aquarium. And these are the Hatborlei fry, the younger ones versus the older ones. There is, I think, if I remember correctly, somewhere between 2 and 3 weeks between them. I have to do what Dawn does there and label my tanks to remember all this stuff, but I just never get around to it. And then it's not really that important to me, other than when I put these videos together for you guys, because it's all based on size. I don't really have any real interest in them I don't do growth comparisons. I just get them ready for aquariums for my clients, and that's basically all there is. And anyway, after you've done it for such a long time like I have, it doesn't really make any difference. You just feed them what you need, and they grow up, and you move them out. I'm going to end up with this rack here There's not much left that needs to be done on here, except the tank on the far left is getting way too overgrown. You're not going to see much of it today. But after I was done recording all this, I was looking in there and I noticed that there was a dead guppy. And what happens is it got stuck in all the subwasser tank and had died. And you gotta be very careful with these sorts of things when that happens, because you get saltwater tanks are much worse. You can get a cascade effect with them, but even with freshwater, you can also get the same effect if you have a dead fish producing toxins, and there's none, because there's so many plants. You don't really get as much flow. It can build up, and yeah, you got to be very careful with those sorts of things. And actually, these killies are doing really well. Getting to the point now where I'm a little concerned that the new fry might be being predated on by the old ones. But I'm going to give it a little bit longer, and then I'm going to do a pull out of all these plants and see what I can find as far as fry goes, and see if there is still enough of a size difference between the big ones and the little ones to see if they are doing that. These guys are doing great. I pruned that back last week or a week before, and they're doing very well. This is the tank I was talking about. Normally they're all up front, but you can see they're hanging a little bit near the top, and that was my clue that something was going on in there. And I pulled it all out and got it all cleaned out and everything. I think there's 2 dead fish in there, which is part of the reason water was not exactly 100%. So yeah, you gotta be very careful when you have a ton of plants in an aquarium, especially like that one there. And the other thing I had is a nice surprise while I was doing all that, and after I had done all the recording, unfortunately, is there is a baby coolie loach in there, which is kind of cool. And I spotted him, and I was going to record him, but then he zipped underneath something, and, well, I had already disturbed that tank enough. I wasn't going to go do it again and try to hunt him down, because, well, you know, it's just difficult to get footage of them. But I'm glad they're there still. That's the problem with coolie loaches. You don't ever really get to see them that much. And these 2 bottom tanks on the right, I am going to definitely switch those over. The bottom one in the middle is going to be for the Africans, so I can move the baby guppies up in the upper tank there. And yeah, lots of stuff to do still, as you can see. And I've got, well, 10 weeks plus a bit maybe to get that all set. So anyway, culturing will be up for Wednesday, most likely. And thank you very much for watching. Leave comments. If there's anything ever that you want to see, definitely let me know, and I will hopefully find time to put a video together about it. Otherwise, I'll do the best I can, and, well, anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.